Hello, children. Welcome to your English class. I hope you all are enjoying your online classes. And in today's English class, we are going to take up the first chapter of your English reader book, that is Carrie the Carrier. Children, this is a very interesting story of a young boy just of your age. The boy who once come across a very strange salesman who was selling advices. Now let us read this story and let us find out what happened next. So let us start reading the chapter. There are a few questions in the beginning of the lesson which I'll be taking up once we finish the reading of this chapter. So I would request you all to please open your English reader book on page number 1 and kindly follow where I'm reading. Ma, there is a man who has set up a table at the street corner. It is almost bare. He says he's selling advice to make us wise, announced Gunjan excitedly. Will you take his advice? Asked his mother. You are stubborn and won't take any from your father or me. No, he seems smart. He has a file full of degrees he got from places I've never heard of. It only costs 5 rupees, coaxed Gunjan. Now, children, in this paragraph, the main character here is Gunjan, a little boy, and who is talking to his mother. The boy is explaining his mother that there is a man who has set up a table at the corner of the street and his table is almost bare. Bare means empty, there is nothing on the table, but he is selling advice to make others wise. This was told by Gunjan to his mother. Now Gunjan was feeling it very strange. People sell toys, people sell other items, but this man was selling advices. Now, after listening to Gunjan, mother asked, will you take up his advice? Mother very curiously tried to inquire from Gunjan that if you're going to take the advice of that man, you are so stubborn and you won't take any from your father or me. You never even listen to your father or me. Are you going to take up the advice of that man? Gunjan replied, No, he seems to be smart. He considered that the man who was selling advice at the street corner is very smart. He has a file full of degrees he got from places I have never heard of. Now Gunjan told his mother that the man has so many degrees and from various places that he has never even heard the name of those places. Now what are degrees, children? See, as you give exam and when you get promoted to your next class, you get a certificate or a report card, right? So a degree is also an academic certificate, okay, that one gets after completion of a study or course at university or college level, okay. So now Gunjan informed his mother that man is having a file which is full of degrees from various places and his advice just cost rupees 5, coaxed Gunjan. Now what is the meaning of word coaxed over here? That means Gunjan was trying to convince his mother to spend 5 rupees for the advice, So he was trying to convince him by giving various reasons, or by flattering, okay. And you are stubborn. What do you mean by the word stubborn? A person who is not ready to change at any cost, okay. Sometimes if you don't like a particular vegetable and your mother cooks the same for you, what you give different kind of excuses, but you don't eat it. Okay, if suppose your mother has cooked bitter gourd for you and you really don't like it, so you'll try to remain hungry, but you'll not eat it. So that is one of the symbol of a stubborn child, right? When you don't agree at any cost with others. Okay, now I'm reading. Now let us read page number 2. Well, you have all that birthday money. This may be a good way to spend some of it, agreed his mother. Now Gunjan's mother agreed that he can spend 5 rupees for the advice, and she also suggested that he can spend some money from his birthday money from his savings. Gunjan trotted off to the street corner and came back with a small envelope made from recycled newspaper. He opened it and took out a slip of paper. Now Gunjan trotted means walked a little fast, okay, towards the street corner, and then came back with a small envelope that was made of old or recycled newspaper. He opened it and took out a slip of paper. Carry the carrier. What on earth does that mean? What a stupid advice, shouted Gunjan. I can't believe I have paid 5 rupees for this. Now, when Gunjan opened up the envelope and he got a slip, and what was written on the slip? Carry the carrier. You can even see it in the picture given on page number 2. Now, when Gunjan saw the slip, he got really disheartened, and he thought that it was a stupid advice and he has wasted 5 rupees. Now, because Gunjan could not understand the meaning what was written on it. Do you know what it could mean? Asked his mother. No, I don't want to know. I'll return it to him. His stubbornness was showing. Now Gunjan was not even ready to listen to his mother. He was totally disappointed. And he wanted to now return the slip back to the same man. Gunjan went off hot-footed to the seller of advice. Hot-footed means very fast. So Gunjan went back to the seller of the advice, to the same man. The young man smiled at him. After Gunjan had shouted at him for fooling a young boy, the young man calmly said, "The goods sold may be returned, but with a condition. You have to give in writing that you won't follow the advice." Now, Gunjan went back to the man and he shouted at him. He also said that it is not good on his part to fool a young boy. But the young man smiled at little boy, and very calmly he said that you can return your good. You can return the advice, but there is a condition. You have to give me in writing that you will not follow the advice that is given to you in this envelope. I don't need your stupid advice even for free, huffed Gunjan. Now, when this was told to Gunjan by the man, he spoke in a very rude way. Huffed means to spoke in a very rude way to express one's anger. So, because this boy Gunjan was really disappointed and he was very annoyed, so he shouted at the man and returned the piece of paper back to him. So the piece of paper and the money exchanged hands again, and everyone seemed happy. What do you mean by money exchanged hands? Here, that means when Gunjan wanted to return back the advice and get 5 rupees back from the man. So this was done happily, okay? And both the parties, that is the man and this little boy Gunjan, both seemed to be happy after returning each other's things. You cannot use my advice anytime, anywhere, reminded the young man. Now the young man, after returning back 5 rupees to Gunjan, he reminded him that you cannot use now my advice. I advised you to carry a carrier, but now you cannot use this advice anytime, anywhere. When Gunjan went shopping with his mother that evening, they had to pay an extra rupee for the cloth bag at the vegetable shop, then at the milk booth, and again at the grocery store. Now that evening, when Gunjan accompanied with his mother to the market, he saw that he has to pay an extra rupee everywhere for a cloth bag, for at the vegetable shop, at the milk booth, and again at the grocery store. A bag is a carrier, isn't it? You have vowed not to carry a carrier, said Gunjan's mother firmly. 3 rupees in one day. This must come out of your pocket money since you decided not to take good advice. Gunjan felt he had made a major mistake. Now, when they have to pay 3 extra rupees for the cloth bag, mother reminded Gunjan that you are the one who has vowed. Vowed means who has promised or pledged not to use a carrier. Okay, so the mother said, now this 3 rupees must come from your pocket because you are the one who refused to take a good advice. And now Gunjan felt very sorry. He thought that he has really committed a big mistake. Go and apologize to the young man, his mother recommended. Now, mother said, go and apologize. What do you mean by the word apologize? To say sorry for one's mistake. Okay. So, mother advised, recommended means mother gave an advice to this young boy Gunjan that you must go and say sorry to the young man for not following his advice. Back went Gunjan to the street corner. The young man gladly tore up Gunjan's handwritten note, and Gunjan could now carry a carrier. Now, when Gunjan went to the street corner, the young man was very happy. Gladly means he happily tore up Gunjan's handwritten note. Which note? The note which Gunjan has given in exchange of 5 rupees, because the rule was that if somebody has to return the advice, he or she has to give it in writing that he will not follow the advice anywhere, anytime. So Gunjan gave it in written to that young man. And now when Gunjan went again to apologize, the young man very happily tore up Gunjan's handwritten note, and now Gunjan was free to carry a carrier. Can I have another piece of advice? Asked Gunjan eagerly. And now Gunjan requested the man to give him another piece of advice. Now let us read page number 3. This cost him 10 rupees. Segregate the green and the grey. Make good use of both. Now when Gunjan asked for another advice, he was given some green and grey chits or slips, and he was told to segregate. What do you mean by the word segregate? Means to separate things, different things, different kinds of things. Okay. So, and he said that you can make use of both. Gunjan looked confused. His mother smiled at his confusion. Now Gunjan was a bit confused. Why 2 types of slips? But his mother smiled at his confusion. Look it up online, was her suggestion. Now she said, it is better to look up online. And with a little help online, Gunjan was quick to decode the meaning. Now when Gunjan surfed online, he could very quickly decode. That means he could very quickly understand. Decode means to understand. Okay, the meaning. Separate the biodegradable waste and the non-biodegradable waste. We must reuse or recycle the non-biodegradable waste. Now, what is the meaning of biodegradable? Anything that decays naturally, okay, get decomposed naturally is called biodegradable. Now, I can just give you an example of, some vegetable peels. You might have seen that the vegetable peels, sometimes we throw it in the open, right? And you will see that after some few days there's nothing. Why? Because that get mixed in the soil and turns it into a very nutritious soil or fertile soil, that is called humus. Okay, that is good for plants. So basically biodegradable means something that can get mixed up with soil, okay, or can get decomposed naturally. Yes, that what's it mean. Now, when Gunjan surfed online the meaning of biodegradable, he could make it out very well. I suppose we should get two buckets, not plastic, for separating the waste and check what belongs where, said Gunjan. Now, Gunjan said that we should get two buckets but not plastic, and let us separate the waste and check what belongs where. Not two, but four, corrected Gunjan's mother. One for biodegradable waste like vegetable peels, another for waste that can be reused like paper bags, a third for those that we need to give away for recycling like batteries, and the fourth for things that cannot be made into a compost or reused or recycled. Now mother said that we need 4 buckets instead of 2. Okay, first one is for the vegetable peels, second one for such things which can be recycled like batteries, second for the waste that can be reused like paper bags, third one for some recycling that is like batteries, and the fourth thing that cannot be made into a compost, that can never be reused. For example, some broken glass pieces, something like that, it cannot be recycled or reused. Why haven't we been doing this? Asked Gunjan. Now Gunjan was confused that why are we doing all this? Honestly, because we have been lazy. We'll begin tomorrow, promised his mother. Now mother explained that we have become little lazy. Instead of segregating all the waste, we are dumping it into one single bucket, being lazy. I know what advice I would give, Dad, said Gunjan mischievously. Now Gunjan was now in a fun mood and he said that I'm going to give advice to my dad. All that is new is not the best. And what was the advice that Gunjan wanted to give to his father? That all that new is not the best. A new phone every year is not the best use of money, and that advice will cost him nothing. So Gunjan wanted to advise his father that he must not purchase or go for a new phone every year, and this advice will cost him nothing. So children, this was the lesson, and which was really interesting and which motivates all of you to try to segregate the waste in order to be little thoughtful about your environment, in order to help you out to reuse, recycle the things. Okay, so the activity that is given here on page 1 for all of you is, look around in your house, make a list of things made of plastic. First thing, look around in your classroom, make a list of things made of plastic, and how many of these can be made from wood or paper. See children, plastic is one of a threat to our whole environment, to our earth. Yes, plastic, things made up of plastic cannot be composed, right? So that has really become a big threat for our environment, and therefore the main message of this chapter is that we must try to stop the use of plastic, and we must try to substitute those things that are made up of plastic with the things made up of wood or paper. So children, I would request you, whenever you are free, please try to do this activity, and we shall discuss it in our next class. Thank you and have a good day.